Welcome to the free-to-play feature. My name is Kevin, and today I'll be taking a look at the Snow Tour in great detail, specifically level 7 and the changes it presents us. Now, I said in the last video, I didn't think that level 7 would significantly alter our experience, and now after having taken a very in-depth look at it, I still feel that way, and perhaps even stronger, due to the changing of precedent with the number of tickets required to level things up. So let's start right there. In order to take a normal from level 6 to level 7, it requires 20 tickets, 8 for a super and 5 for a high end. This is much more than we were anticipating, and the bonuses are scaled the same as they were before. So ultimately, you're just getting a lower return on each ticket you spend. So for the players that will be investing to go into level 7, they'll ultimately be allowing the players that aren't capable of making those investments or unwilling to make those investments, they're allowing them to catch up, because the players that are investing their tickets otherwise will be getting a higher return off their investment, which will kind of jumble the players together and make it an overall more competitive game. That's my projection for how I see this playing out. Let's start our analysis by looking at high ends, specifically bonus points per action per ticket spent. I'll provide a chart in the space below. Now this is a chart I developed and it has a range of values, and I've stylized the values to reflect the favorability, we'll say, of the different decisions you can make at different points. The values in white are always favorable. It's not a mistake unless it's overlapping within your inventory. And if it's in magenta, that means that it's a favorable choice, but you may want to reconsider because those tickets can be applied for much greater value in other situations. And if the value is in red, you want to avoid it unless you're pay to win, because you're getting a very low return on your investment in those situations. Now, as you can see, the break in precedent with the amount of tickets required to level up makes this the first time that leveling up is in the borderline category. As you can see, you're only gaining 8 bonus points per action by going from level 6 to level 7, and that takes 5 tickets. So that's 1.6 bonus points per action per ticket spent. It's on par with double uncapping at level 5, which is a decision that you're willing to make, but it's not one that you're eagerly going to make. And the reason for that is because you can apply those 5 level up tickets to a level 4 to bring it to level 6, and then you get an additional 16 bonus points per action. Or you can use 4 tickets to get the same 16 bonus points per action added to your score to bring a driver from level 1 to level 4. So as you can see, there are many more beneficial ways to use your tickets than to invest in level 7. You're only going to do it if you're at the top. Now, here's a way to think about it. Yes, there will be people with level 7 and you will find them difficult. However, think about those investments that those players are making and it will be slowing down their progress. Or a better way to look at it is speeding up the difference between what you can do and what they're already doing. So ultimately, I do think that this will bring players closer together. However, it won't feel that way at first. This is the first time that it's favorable to triple cap a character. And that is when you bring it to level 7, because you'll be getting approximately 1.3 bonus points per action per ticket spent, which is actually greater than double uncapping a level 4. So if you're in a position where you are going to take something to level 7, strongly consider triple uncapping it if you have the tickets available. Next, let's take a look at super drivers. Supers are a little bit different because they're always progressing towards being maxed out, whether you're getting them in the pipes, in the daily selects, tier shop, or using tickets that you get from the token shop or other sources. These are ones that they're always progressing. So we're going to be specifically looking at investing them in different situations. Now, going from level 6 to level 7, you are adding a shade over 7 bonus points per action. And if you divide that out by the 8 tickets you're spending, it's a shade over 0.9 bonus points per action per ticket spent. However, those 8 tickets could be used to raise 2 level 4s to level 5, which is almost 13 bonus points per action and just about 1.6 bonus points per action per ticket spent. In other words, you're getting only 60% of the value when you apply it to be level 7, as opposed to splitting it into 2 level 5s. Or another way, you can use 9 tickets to bring a level 2 driver to level 5, and that would gain over 20 bonus points per action, and that would be an even greater use of your resources, to the point where you're getting roughly over 1/3 of the value when you apply it to level 7. While we're on the topic of supers, let's discuss how should you use your coins. Should you use them in the daily select? Should you focus on the tier shop? Now, the quickest way to receive tickets in your daily selects is to max out the super glider slot. There's only 4 gliders, and you need to make 8 purchases each at 2,000 coins, so that's 64,000 total coins. Is it worth it? Or should you focus on the tier shop? Now, those gliders don't come up in ranked mode often. I've gone through my ranked mode usage data, and I found that in the last 6 months, I've only used those gliders a total of 3 times, and only 2 of them. And ultimately, I don't think that's a very good use of coins. So I would focus on the tier shop. That's what I plan on doing. And you might say, Kevin, I don't like the cost of the tickets. They're inflated. I don't want to leak any coins out that I don't have to. Now, that's a totally valid opinion, and I respect it. However, let me provide some analytics to paint a more comprehensive picture. And that is, if you focus on the tier shop, the goal of it is to help you be more competitive in ranked mode, okay? So let's say if you make that inflated ticket purchase in the tier shop, you can move from 2nd place to 1st place. If you're focusing on super gliders and you're free to play, you're not going to be using your coins for any other purpose except those super gliders for over a month. So with the tier shop focus, you can look out for the tickets, and then if your tier shop runs dry, then maybe focus on the daily selects for a little while and be able to pivot back to being able to make a high-end ticket purchase in the tier shop in the following week. But let's just say if you move from 2nd place to 1st place as a result of that inflated ticket cost that you paid, and now you get 40 rubies instead of 20, and you get 2,000 coins instead of 1,200 coins. So that 20 rubies can be converted into a coin value. It's a metric called coins per ruby. And most pipes that you go into will be roughly 400 coins per ruby. It's more for the anniversary or returning high-end spotlight type pipes. Those are over 400 coins per ruby, but your general 6 high-end brand new spotlight is going to be slightly less, in the high 300s. So we'll just call it 400 roughly, and say that 400 coins per ruby times the 20 rubies, that is 8,000 coins, plus the 800 coins that you receive directly for that is 8,800 coins. Now, what this means is that you can make up to 3 high-end ticket purchases in the tier shop and still be breaking even, not even accounting for the cap tickets that you receive as a reward by moving up in position in ranked mode. So therefore, if you only need to make 1 or 2 purchases of that inflated ticket, you're still winning value in the long run. And that's something that you might be missing if you're just focusing directly on that ticket costing 3,000 more than you would get it in the daily selects. Before I get into the specifics of my game, I'd like to just summarize my thoughts on level 7 and also just this update in general. Level 7, I am a little bit apprehensive about due to the increased ticket costs and breaking with precedent. However, I do think that the rewards that they're providing us through our all cup ranking is just beautiful. As a free-to-play player, it opens up the world to us, and that we can now have the power to make more high-level decisions than we had before. And one small piece of apprehension I have moving forward is that with these additional tickets in circulation, our ranked modes may become more difficult. I'm not sure when that will be. And with also tiers moving up from 60 to 70, intuition would lead us to think that that should provide easier ranked modes because it thins the field out. But as we know, that the matchmaking algorithm does not care what your tier is, and they will tier you based on your performance and ability, which is your previous ranked score history, as well as your loadouts for the current week. So with regards to that, I am slightly apprehensive with this influx of tickets coming in. However, I do feel that the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks of such a thing. So I thank the Mario Kart Tour team for their generosity and also for their ability to listen to the feedback and constructive criticism that many people in the community have shared with them. Next up, let's take a look at how my ranked mode went for the week 2 of the previous tour. And we can see I got second place. I was very happy about that. Right from the get-go, I had recognized that it was going to be a difficult week. I had Dixie Kong to make it a much easier week. However, it was impossible to catch first place. Their loadouts were too good, and I played it as such. So here we can see all the rewards I got. So I scored 59,800. And I probably, if I invested everything I could have gotten to like 69 or 70,000, but 71 was just out of reach. I did a double coin frenzy run with Dixie Kong, had a lot of fun. I actually got it within like 10 or 15 minutes. So since I didn't need any extra points than that, I was able to use Donkey Kong Jr. at level 1 just for fun on Choco Island. And then actually Lakitu I used on 50cc Frenzyless Run. You might be wondering, how did I score so low? So we see here the 71,000 put up by Kine, and yeah, there's just nothing I could do about that. So hopefully moving forward now, I'll try to get out of the pattern of coming in second place, which has happened the last few tours, but I am grateful for the tier ups because it's presented me with a situation where I can earn more tickets. Even for coming in second place, I'm getting the same amount of tickets as I was getting for first place before I hit tier 45. One thing I've been doing a little bit on the side is trying to predict an estimate of the strength of my next week's ranked opponents. You might say, oh, that sounds crazy, but based on the data that I've looked at within my scoring and my opponents, as well as other free-to-play players, I feel like there's a fairly predictable pattern, and I'm trying to tweak the underlying components of that in order to be able to project forward and then see if I score so much one week, what could I expect the next? These are very relevant decisions, and they may not apply to players who are not free to play, since I have seen that the greater up on the pay scale players go, the looser these forces apply to them. So if you're Gold Pass only, a lot of this information might be relevant. However, if you do buy bundles or if you're completely pay to win, you might find that this information doesn't apply as religiously to you, and it might just appear more random. I haven't looked at the data very closely for anyone other than free to play, so I can only speak on my own experience and those like me. So without going into great detail with this, I'll provide a little snippet of it below. But in week 2 of ranked mode, ahead of that ranked mode, I had estimated using my formula that the top opponent score would be a little over 69,000. And as you saw, Kine72 had scored 71,900. So the percentage error between that was only 3%, which is just magnificent. Now, I had done the calculations for other people in the free-to-play group, and it was between 5 and 6% error for them. My method for doing this is to use my score from the previous week's ranked mode and multiply it by something I call loadout strength, which is taking a look at what my loadouts are moving into the next week's ranked mode. And then I also multiply it by weight, which is my metric for track score scaling. And that's using the Grand Star threshold data that they give us in the game. Now, one thing that we've noticed in the free-to-play group within the Kart Life Discord is that week 1 is almost exclusively easier than week 2. For example, in week 1, I've won 8 of the last 9 times, and I've only won week 2 once. So that's a very strong trend, and that exists uniformly among all free-to-play players. And what you may also see is that the threshold for receiving Grand Stars between the Week 1 tracks and the Week 2 tracks, it's always greater in the Week 2 tracks. In fact, it's actually greater with each subsequent cup that you move along into. This correlation could just be a coincidence, but I've been using it, albeit in a very limited sample size, successfully so far. So for Week 1 of the Snow Tour ranked mode, using the differences in my loadout strength as well as the threshold scores for the Grand Stars, it would anticipate that my top opponent will have a score of approximately 53,600. So let's take a look at what my ranked mode looks like for Week 1 of the Snow Tour. Looking at my list so far, you can see that the top player already has 52,000. So that's very close to the estimate. Now there is a player all the way at the bottom here. I don't think they've played yet. Yeah, they haven't played yet. So this is the only player who's a higher tier than me, and they have very strong loadouts. So they have a potential, if they play, to probably get between 53,000 and 59,000, give or take. But I might get lucky and they might have uninstalled the game, which is to my benefit. So right now, I'm dealing with an opponent who's at 52,000. Looking at DK Summit, I couldn't resist. It has Donkey Kong Jr. I already brought him to level 2 and I gave him 1 cap ticket. If needed for ranked mode, I'll absolutely take him to level 3, but nothing greater than that. For the cart, I have the DK Maximum. Now, this is my most used cart, believe it or not. When I pulled in the Super Mario Kart Tour Week 2 pipe, I wasn't even trying to pull for this, but it just happened to come in the 5th 10 pull I did, in which I also received Donkey Kong Jr. And it's coming huge for me, actually. It's my most used cart, and it's coming on a lot of paywall tracks. So this is one where I may actually consider a ticket investment in that cart, since it just keeps reappearing so frequently. And for gliders, we see I don't have top shelf, unfortunately. Maybe I can get one with my free pipes or with the all clear pipe on the weekend. But for right now, I have the Great Sale, which on this track, it's pretty rough for combo with 15% middle shelf. However, it's a pretty strong loadout considering what the other players have. And it's just been a lot of fun to play this track. I love the track, I love the music, so it's a very good one. And it's one where I'm willing to invest in if it's needed to win this week in ranked mode. Now, Rosalina Ice World R. We have Pit Crew Toad, level 2 only. It was one of my most recent pickups for the supers. For cart, we have the Sports Coupe once again. This is coming in very good for me. So this is another cart where I may consider investing in. Just like the DK Maximum, it hasn't been used as much in ranked mode for me, but I received it more recently. So the value of this is definitely very high in terms of its track value. It's definitely one of the more popular carts. So I'll be going with that. And then the Star Shoot, which is also in the tier shop. So when I take a look at the tier shop, I'll explain my strategy moving forward with my coins. I'm on a very thin line. However, I am eager to possibly invest in that to bring it to level 2, since it is a very good glider and the additional combo time would be huge on this track. So let's pop it back out. And we have Frapp Snowland T. Very nice track. I have Ice Bro level 2. Definitely could afford to increase him quite a bit, because after King Boo and Donkey Kong, Ice Bro is one that I feel like I use a lot. So if I invest in him, I know that that investment will pay forward in future ranked modes. For the cart, we see I have I think it's Blue 7, right? Yeah, I mean, they all look similar, but Blue 7, which is also in the tier shop, I could consider taking that to level 4, as well as this coin glider here. So ultimately, what I'm thinking is that I have 6 super driver tickets, and it may require a slightly heavy investment this week in order to win ranked mode. So for sure, I could take Ice Bro to level 3, and I'm even considering level 4. So this could potentially be a 4-4-4 loadout. And that would be a very good score. I would be hoping to get around 24,000 with that. So that's what I'm looking at for this week. Now I'll go over to what I expect to be week 2, which is the Bowser Jr. Cup. Now, given my hopes and expectations to win week 1. This week, rather week 2 is not going to be looking too pretty for me. Even though I have level 5 Funky Kong here, I love this track. I got 23,000 the last time it was in ranked mode, which feels like it was week 1 of New Year's Tour. I know because I had the Platinum Taxi, which must have been boosted as a spotlight because it's no longer in the top shelf here. I'll go with probably the Banana Master, as well as the Blue Flower Glider. So very good loadout here. The last time I got 23,000, it was one of my favorite runs of all time. Double Coin Frenzy with a single giant banana barrel. And it was so much fun to race that. But this time it's level 5, so it's even stronger, but the cart is lower. So probably would be a comparable score, given that drivers add a lot more to the bonus points. Well, this is where things go downhill. Rainbow Road RT, have a level 1 coin boxer, which means that I'm going to be facing people who have level 5 and level 6 coin boxers. There we go, Soda Jet, this glider, which is new for me as of New Year's Tour. I'm going to get a decent score, but probably won't be able to compete with players, not just for this track, but if I pull it back out here, you're going to see DK Summit T. I do have the driver for that, Gold Shy Guy, but I only have a middle shelf cart now with the DK Maximum and only a middle shelf glider and a level 1 at that too. So not looking too pretty for this track, both between this and Rainbow Road. It's going to be tough to compete. However, I'm very happy. It was a very timely update with them providing an increase in ranked rewards, because if we go back over here, we'll see that even if I come in 6th place, I would still get the 2 tickets I was getting previously for coming in 2nd place. And even if I finished all the way down in 10th, I'm still getting a high-end cap ticket. So next week for Driver Week, Funky Kong will carry me into that 6 through 10 range. So I'll still be able to get a high-end driver ticket, and that will make me happy, since moving forward then it can reestablish the cycle of easier ranked modes in week 1, and then, you know, hopefully like maintaining tier or possibly even min-maxing and being able to get 6th place first and then 6th alternating, until I've reached a point where I can sufficiently tier up in subsequent weeks without losing rewards for like 3rd place or something that's less than optimal. I've been tiering up lately with 2nd place more than 1st place, even at least as of the last tour, and that's something I want to sort out so that I can proceed moving forward in a way that maximizes my rewards in ranked mode. Now, if we take a look at the tier shop for this week, we see that there is the Star Shoot and the Blue 7. I wouldn't consider Blue, Light Blue Birdo or whatever it's called, but I will also be getting this high-end driver ticket. Now I've projected my coins forward using the let's see, the challenge board, which I already completed the multiplayer one. So here we see the total points challenge, and I have 3,000 more coins left to get here, and I'll be getting a high-end ticket. But ultimately, all projected forward, I'll have about 40,000 coins at the end of this tour, which means that I can have purchased the $10,000 Star Shoot, the 15,000 high-end driver ticket, as well as next week's 15,000 coin, high-end driver ticket, and then proceed moving forward with most, if not all, of my Coin Rush tickets in place, which is something that I try to do just to have something in the bank if there's like a surprise emergency purchase that needs to be done in either the daily selects or the tier shop. Last but not least, let's get to the free pipe pulls. I could really use the high-end glider for this one. So normally I'm like, I don't care about getting a high-end on my free pipe, but in this one, given the inflated odds and also given the need for it, especially on the DK Summit track, which is hard to keep combo in, I would certainly like to get that high-end glider to just make my life a little bit easier. So let's dive right in. Not using any rubies. As you can see, I have more rubies than I know what to do with, and I don't plan on using any of them anytime soon. So without further ado, let's jump right into the free pipes. First one up is green. What's it gonna be? Super glider wouldn't be bad. Hey, Ice Bro, all right. Wow, that is huge. That saves me a ticket. I love that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow, man, if I get the high-end glider now, like, could you stack a better 2 pipes than that? It's green. Well, we already got the super, so you know what? They can do their worst, right? Let's see what it is. Common glider, all right. Well, we got something that helps us for this week. I'm so happy about that. Anyway, if you like the video, please leave a comment, leave a like, spread the word. That way more people can be empowered to make better decisions and better enjoy this game that we all love and spend a lot of time on. So take care, you guys.